Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is November 18th, 2021, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, oil tumbles to $76 a barrel. But first, no major economic events scheduled for today. So as we look at the various markets, there's been a rotation. Looking at the Forex symbols, the euro finding a soft landing while the GBP actually bounces in this environment. Now looking at the indices, the Dow Jones drifts lower while this NASDAQ is still steady. Looking at commodities, gold at the top of its range and showing some resilience while oil tumbles as we mentioned. Now looking at the stocks, Microsoft retracing from its all-time highs of 340. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin struggling to stay above 60,000. But let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. We're starting with the Euro USD at a 4-hour chart. This was a tumble. Okay, we went from 116 down to 118.96. Okay, 112.96, which is all intents and purposes 350 pips since the beginning of November 9th. Okay, so that's always, that's been a 10-day move that we've been retracing in this fashion. Now, looking at a longer time frame, it just gives us a little bit of perspective. This is the low of the year, okay? And we look at a weekly chart. We haven't been here since May of 2020, right after the pandemic, okay? So this is really a very important level that we're at. And you could see that ostensibly, this is really the support level, okay? This should be a support level right here because we did have this consolidation here twice as a resistance-ish area. And that is very important. This is a very important area. So if we do breach this and we do sell to 112-ish level, we could be back into this 106, 107-ish level as well. So something to consider. Just keep an eye on it. I don't think it's going to happen today, and we may see a bounce still, but this is something to definitely keep an eye on because, this is historic. We're looking at a weekly chart, okay? Relatively, we don't look at a weekly chart unless something is happening drastic. And this is what I'm talking about, is that it becomes much more important. Okay, I guess that's the word I'm looking for, and validated as well when we're looking at a longer time frame and it's hitting a weekly support level as opposed to like a minute-to-minute support level, which is almost insignificant. Now, looking at GBP USD, we did get a bounce. We're starting out with a weekly. Let's look at a 4-hour chart. We did get a bounce from its 133.65-ish level to 135, a decent bounce. When we look at a daily, we're still at close to the lows of the year. Okay, if we look at a weekly, also, we haven't been in this area since December of 2020. So almost a year ago since we've been in this area. So there's a common theme here that the dollar is getting stronger, okay? And that's usually a precedent for the markets in the U.S. to actually sell off. Now, speaking of the markets in the U.S., let's just jump into it. First, let's do commodities. Excuse me, we usually do that as well. Let's look at gold first because that's usually our go-to. 1866, we're right there at the top, not really retracing. So this may very well break higher, okay? This is something to watch right now as this is unfolding today. Now, looking at crude oil, $76 a barrel. Now, let's look at a weekly chart. That is a major retracement. Okay, we did break that 8-day moving average. We look at a daily, we even broke the 30-day moving average. That's an important level to actually break. So I would consider that to be my next resistance-ish area. If we do continue selling off, that's something, but we may actually bounce here, okay, because this was previous resistance, possibly subsequent support here, so something to consider going into today. Now, looking at the individual stocks, Microsoft, okay, off of its highs of about $2. Not a big deal, but it's retracing, okay? Apple actually gained yesterday a little bit to 152. Facebook also just trading in that range. Amazon also for sure trading in that range, having a hard time breaking out higher. So this is things to consider. And now Tesla is looking like it's just hugging this $1,000 area-ish level, okay? Nothing either going higher or lower, but you could see that the momentum is kind of given way here, okay? So you could take that into consideration until we break out in either direction. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, this is where it's at. We're having a hard time maintaining the 60K, okay? If we do consider that, we've gone from almost 29,000 back in May or June of this past year, okay, up to 67,000, 68,000, okay, which was a tremendous feat, Okay, that was from July, right? From the middle of July until now, we went, from 29,000 to 68,000. A nice little, real rally there. But we are breaking the 8-day moving average and the 30-day moving average, which is not encouraging. Okay, so keep that in mind. For now, we are in a sell-off kind of mentality, but we haven't broken lower. Okay, 59,000 still hugging 60K. So I'd like to think that we are at the bottom of support for now until something changes. This is Fred Razak, and I wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.